The crimson blade hummed through the darkness of the Coruscant penthouse, its glow casting dancing shadows across ancient Sith artifacts. Darth Plagueis the Wise stumbled backward, his elongated moon features contorted in shock as he stared at the lightsaber protruding from his chest. The weapon belonged to his apprentice, or so he had believed. "Do you truly think?" Chief Palpatine's voice resonated with the power that seemed to vibrate through the very Force itself. "That you created me?" Plagueis collapsed to his knees, golden eyes wide with the terrible realization. "The midichlorians. I manipulated them. You were to be my vessel." "No." Palpatine extinguished the blade and circled his dying master like a Nexu stalking wounded prey. "You meddled with forces beyond your comprehension. The Force answered your arrogance not with a tool, but with its chosen one. I am not your creation, Plagueis. I am the Force's response to centuries of imbalance." The old Sith Master's breathing grew ragged. In his final moments, he saw it clearly. The astronomical midichlorian count, the raw power that dwarfed even Master Yoda's, the destiny written in the stars themselves. He had not created life. He had awakened something far more dangerous. "The Jedi," Plagueis gasped. "They will never accept what you are." "Then they will learn," Palpatine replied, his relatively young face serene as he watched the light fade from his master's eyes. "Or they will burn." 20 years had passed since that night. 20 years since Chief Palpatine had been cast out from the Jedi Temple, branded a heretic for daring to study both sides of the Force. The Clone Wars raged across the galaxy, but not as the Republic had expected. This was not a conflict orchestrated from the shadows. This was an ideological crusade led by a man who claimed to be the true fulfillment of ancient prophecy. Master Obi-Wan Kenobi deflected another volley of blaster fire as he led the 212th Attack Battalion through the smoking ruins of Raxus Prime. The industrial world had declared for Palpatine's new Force order 3 cycles ago, and the Jedi Council had dispatched him to investigate reports of Force-sensitive recruits being trained in ways that violated 1,000 years of tradition. "General Kenobi!" Commander Cody's voice crackled through the comm. "We've got movement in the factory complex. Looks like... Sir, they're not battle droids." Obi-Wan's jaw tightened. He knew what they would find. Palpatine's gray adepts, Force users who wielded both light and dark without allegiance to either. The Jedi Order called them abominations. Palpatine called them evolved. "Steady, Cody. Remember, they were Jedi once. Some of them, at least." As if summoned by his words, 3 figures emerged from the smoke. They wore simple gray robes, their lightsabers neither the blue and green of Jedi nor the crimson of Sith. The blades glowed silver white, like captured starlight. The lead figure lowered her hood, revealing a face Obi-Wan knew all too well. "Master Kenobi," Ahsoka Tano said, her voice carrying a sadness that cut deeper than any blade. "You shouldn't have come here." "Ahsoka." The name escaped him like a prayer. "It's not too late. You can still come back." She shook her head, those familiar blue eyes now flecked with gold. "Come back to what, Master? To an order that fears knowledge? That hoards wisdom while the galaxy burns? Palpatine showed us the truth. The Force isn't meant to be divided. It's meant to be whole." "He's using you. Whatever he's promised." "He's promised nothing," Ahsoka interrupted. "He's shown us everything. The Jedi Code, the Sith teachings, they're 2 halves of a broken whole. We don't have to choose between compassion and passion, between serenity and strength. We can be complete." The battle that followed shook the very foundations of the factory. Obi-Wan had faced Sith Lords and Master Duelists, but fighting those who wielded both sides of the Force was like trying to predict a storm. They flowed between aggressive Makashi strikes and defensive Suresu stances, channeling righteous fury one moment and serene focus the next. Meanwhile, on Coruscant, Master Yoda sat in meditation within the Jedi Temple's inner sanctum. The Force swirled around him in chaotic patterns, showing him glimpses of possible futures. In every vision, one figure stood at the center. Not Palpatine, but a young man from Tatooine whose birth had coincided with Palpatine's expulsion from the Order. "Skywalker. The key he is. The chosen one Palpatine may claim to be, but balanced through domination, true balance is not." Beside him, Mace Windu paced like a caged rancor. The boy is 19, barely trained. How can he stand against someone who commands both sides of the Force? Because, attached to neither side young Skywalker is. Free to choose he remains. In that freedom, find balance he might. The war had fundamentally changed when Palpatine revealed his true nature to the galaxy. No longer hiding behind political machinations, he had established a new capital on Moraband, the ancient Sith homeland, transforming it into a center of learning where Force users studied all prospects of their power without restriction. His message resonated with many. Why should the Force be divided? Why should Jedi suppress their emotions while Sith drowned in them? Why not seek the middle path, the true balance the prophecy spoke of? Count Dooku, still a member of the Jedi Council, found himself increasingly sympathetic to his former friend's arguments. During a heated council session, he stood and declared, "Why sit here debating while Palpatine acts? He trains Force users to heal and to harm, to love and to fight. We train them to suppress half their nature. Which of us truly serves the Force?" "Dangerous his path is," Yoda countered. "Control both sides one cannot, without losing oneself to the easier path." "And yet, he has," Dooku replied. "For 20 years, Palpatine has wielded both light and dark. He hasn't fallen to the dark side because he doesn't see it as separate. To him, it's all simply the Force." It was Qui-Gon Jinn's Force Ghost who provided the crucial insight. Appearing to Obi-Wan in the depths of the Jedi archives, the ethereal master spoke with characteristic directness. "The prophecy speaks of one who will bring balance, Obi-Wan. We assumed balance meant the destruction of the Sith. But what if balance means something else entirely?" "Master?" Obi-Wan looked up from the ancient text he'd been studying. "What if the Chosen One's purpose isn't to destroy, but to unite? What if Palpatine is right about the nature of the Force, but wrong about the method?" The revelation led Obi-Wan to seek out the one person who might hold the key, Anakin Skywalker. The young man had been trained by both factions during the war, sought after by both sides due to his incredible potential. Neither Jedi nor great adept, Anakin had forged his own path. Obi-Wan found him on Naboo, of all places, standing before the memorial of Queen Amidala, who had died trying to broker peace between the warring Force users. "She believed there had to be another way," Anakin said without turning. "Neither the Jedi's suppression nor Palpatine's domination. She died believing in balance through choice, not control." "And what do you believe?" Obi-Wan asked. Anakin turned, and Obi-Wan saw neither the blue eyes of a Jedi nor the yellow of a Sith, but something entirely unique. Eyes that held the full spectrum of human emotion, controlled but not suppressed, passionate but not consumed. "I believe the prophecy isn't about one person bringing balance," Anakin said. "It's about one person showing others how to find balance within themselves. Palpatine forces unity through power. The Jedi enforce division through doctrine. But true balance, that comes from understanding both and choosing neither extreme." The final confrontation came on Mortis, the mystical realm where the Force itself seemed to have physical form. Palpatine had come seeking the power to reshape the Force itself, to impose his vision of balance upon the galaxy. The Jedi had come to stop him, and Anakin had come to offer a third option. The battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. Palpatine wielded powers that defied classification. Force lightning tempered with healing energy, telekinetic strikes infused with protective barriers. He was, in that moment, everything he claimed to be, the synthesis of all Force traditions. "You see," Palpatine's voice boomed across the ethereal landscape as he held off both Yoda and Mace Windu simultaneously. "I am what the Force intended, neither light nor dark, but complete." It was then that Anakin stepped forward, and the fighting ceased. There was something about his presence that commanded attention, a sense of possibility. "You're not complete," Anakin said quietly. "You're controlled. You've mastered both sides of the Force, yes, but you've become enslaved to that mastery. True balance isn't about controlling the Force. It's about letting the Force flow through you freely, choosing in each moment how to direct it." Palpatine's expression shifted from triumph to uncertainty. "You dare lecture me, boy. I am the Chosen One. I have brought balance." "No," Anakin replied. and as he spoke, the very air around him began to shimmer. "You've brought uniformity. Balance isn't everyone being the same. It's everyone having the freedom to find their own equilibrium." What happened next would be debated by Force scholars for generations. Some say Anakin demonstrated a new way of touching the Force, neither drawing on it nor commanding it, but simply being one with it. Others claim he showed Palpatine a vision of what true balance looked like. Not one person controlling both sides, but billions of beings each finding their own harmony. Whatever the truth, when the light faded, Palpatine stood transformed. The fervent certainty was gone from his eyes, replaced by something almost like wonder. I can feel it," he whispered. "Not the power to control, but the choice to simply be." In that moment, the prophecy fulfilled itself in a way no one had anticipated. The Chosen One, whether it was Palpatine who had shown the flaws in division, or Anakin who had shown the path beyond domination, had indeed brought balance. Not through victory or defeat, but through understanding. The war ended not with triumph, but with transformation. The Jedi Order reformed, acknowledging that suppression of emotion was as dangerous as being ruled by it. Palpatine's Grey Adepts learned that wielding both sides of the Force meant more than just accumulating power, and somewhere in between, a new understanding emerged. Years later, as Master Skywalker trained a new generation of Force users in the ways of balance, teaching them to acknowledge their darkness without being consumed by it, to embrace their light without being blinded by it, he would often think back to that moment on Mortis. "The Force," he would tell his students, including a young Ben Solo who listened with rapt attention, "isn't about choosing sides. It's about choosing, period. Every moment, every decision, every breath. That's where balance lives. Not in some grand destiny, but in the simple act of being present with all that you are." And in the end, perhaps that was the greatest twist of all. The prophecy of the Chosen One had never been about one person at all. It had been about choice itself, the radical notion that balance came not from external control, but from internal freedom. The galaxy had learned through pain and conflict that true balance couldn't be imposed. It had to be chosen, one being at a time, one moment at a time. And in that choosing, the Force itself found balance at last. If you enjoy this journey into an alternative Star Wars universe where destiny takes unexpected turns and balance means something entirely different, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We explore the infinite possibilities hidden within the galaxy far, far away, asking the questions that reshape everything you thought you knew. The Force has many paths. Come discover them with us.